Hello. A lot of y'all have been asking for help understanding how each of the Deceit 2 items work and when you should be using them. So this is going to be a comprehensive guide for all of the items that we currently have for Deceit 2, and I also may drop a few tidbits about other lesser known mechanics here as well. I have split the items into 5 sections as it will be easier to think of them this way. These sections are light, information, damage, deception, and utility items. Starting off with light items, these are the items that will be helping you survive the most, at least as a non-infected player, as these are basically useless to infected. Light is the best way to deal with the creatures of the in-between, whether that be terror players or things like the eyes on the wall or dogs walking around. Light stuns all of these, some with more effect than others. The camera is one of the most basic and useful light items. It gives you a certain amount of charges, and each use produces a flash and uses up a charge. This is pretty useful for terrors that may be chasing you or another person, but I wouldn't recommend using that many charges on eyes or dogs, as they always come back pretty soon. The light trap is a proximity-based trap that will not go off immediately after being placed, but rather after a terror player walks too close. Traps are basically useless against eyes and dogs, but are excellent for when you are being chased by terrors. Watch out though, as these can be broken by players. The torch or flashlight is also fairly simple. You have a percentage-based charge on it, and you can use it up until that battery goes dead. This is less useful for when you're being chased by a terror, as it does not immediately stun like the cameras or traps, but it is exceptional at stunning eyes, dogs, and terrors who may have a teammate grabbed so that you can save them. The flare is the last light item here, and it is very hit or miss. You only get one of them, and while it is a very powerful light, it does not last forever, and once it runs out, it is gone. Though you are basically invincible if you are standing in the light of the flare, so make sure that it is in a good spot that you don't want the terrorists to get to, like the escape door. Once you figure out how to survive the in-between or night period, you're probably going to want to start figuring out who the infected are. This is what the information items are used for. The heat goggles are an innocent way of seeing people through walls like how the infected can normally, though much less powerful and for less time. Rather than distinct outlines, you only see a red blob of where people are, but sometimes that's all you need, especially if you're trying to figure out where someone is hiding. The motion sensor is for if you want to see if an infected does a weak point. Place this on any of them around the map, and anyone near will be alerted by the alarm.
You're taking.
These are one-time use, and like the trap, make sure to watch out as these can be broken as well. The CCTV tablet is an interesting one. There are cameras all over each map, usually placed where you can see a weak point or point of interest. You can look at one screen at a time and try to catch someone being suspicious with the tablet. The thing about cameras though is that they can also be broken, so make sure to call someone out if they are running around and breaking them, as there's no real need to do that as an innocent. The walkie-talkie is more of an item used for someone who you trust and want to relay information to. Once you get a walkie, you can give it to one person and basically have your own chat that no one else can hear. This is great for communication when you don't want others to know what you're saying, or for confirming, or not confirming, that your walkie buddy is not transformed in the night. The bag scanner's purpose is one focused on what items people have. You get a few charges and can scan someone, and it will tell you which items they bought. This can usually mean someone is probably innocent if they have all light items, or probably evil if they have all deception and utility items. Be careful though, as everyone's first item is random and may skew some things. Lastly, there's the tracker, and this one is simple. Place it on someone who you want to track and you will see their outline. This can be used to see where someone is going and if they're doing weak points in the day, or if the terror that transforms near you is the person you tracked. When you believe you know who it is, or if you have been found out, you may begin to need damage items, though to note these do not work in the in-between whatsoever. The pistol is usually going to be the go-to damage item everyone wants. This is a ranged damage item that does 25 damage. You may not know though, headshots do exist in this game and do double damage, so if you can hit them, they are very rewarding. Make sure not to waste all of your ammo though. The gas grenade is a much more niche item and is hard to pull off correctly. This creates an area of damage that slowly ticks down the health of people who are standing in it. This can be useful for clearing out a group of people or blocking off a way that you may be running from as an infected, but I would not rely it on being very useful in downing people. The knuckle duster is the last of the damage items and it's pretty simple. As a baseline, everyone can punch when you have your fists out, so you don't really need a damage item, but the pistol makes your attacks ranged, and the knuckle duster makes your attacks do higher damage quicker, so you can down someone in 3 hits instead of 4, and much faster as well. Deception items have a few uses as innocent, but usually these are going to be helpful for infected or cursed players trying to get away or hide the truth. The smoke grenade is probably the weakest of these. It is exactly that, and it just makes a smoke cloud wherever you throw it. This can have a use in hiding where you are going, but more often than not, it's just a for fun type item. The muzzle is pretty interesting. This can be used on another player or on yourself to mute the player for a couple minutes. If you believe someone knows about your evil deeds, then throw a muzzle on them so they can't tell the lobby. Or alternatively, you can just toss it on the person screaming in the microphone. The mask is easily the most deceptive of these. For about a minute's worth of use, you can transform your player into any other player in the game. Incredibly helpful for framing someone by transforming into them and doing something suspicious like shooting people or activating weak points. The decoy is a puppet that you can throw down that will either run around or stand still as you. It is taken down with any damage, but can be useful for getting players chasing you to go after the wrong one for a bit, either when running away as an evil or as an innocent, hoping that terrorists chase it instead. The invisibility medallion is simple. For a short amount of time when using it, you will be invisible to all players. Watch out though, as it does make a noise when you first start using it. And make sure nobody sees you pop out of existence, or you may have a problem. Lastly, we've got our utility or miscellaneous items. These basically all have different uses, but don't really fit in the other categories. The sanity serum is simply a one-time use syringe that brings your sanity back to 100. The adrenaline allows you to run faster than normal for about 10 seconds. You only have a few of these, so make sure to use them wisely if you are in the need of getting out of a situation quickly. The return pad lets you place it down in a location and then later on in the match activate the button for you to teleport to it. These can also be broken like traps and motion sensors, so make sure you place them in a hidden location. If you press your button and it doesn't teleport you back, someone probably broke it. The bandages will just allow you to heal back your health after you have taken a few hits. You do normally heal over time, but it's very slow, and you may need to be back at full quickly in a tense fight. The handcuffs, like the muzzle, will hinder the person you put it on. They will not be able to interact with anything, and that includes doing things like using their items, so use it wisely. They will, however, still be able to talk and walk, though they can't run. The ball and chain is another item that hinders the person. This one makes it so that the person cannot walk. They can still do everything else, but they will just be stuck in one place for a while. And again, you can use the muzzle, handcuffs, and ball and chain on yourself, but that really isn't too useful. Our last item is the Hammer of Mending. This is just meant to fix things around the map. For now, just wall cracks and broken cameras, but it could have more uses in the future with new maps. And that pretty much covers all of the items currently in Deceit 2 as of when I'm recording this. There will be new items going into the game eventually after this goes up, so if you are watching this after new items come out, I'll try to put little explanations in the pinned comment. Anyways, I hope this was useful to some of you, and be on the lookout for new guides and gameplay from me for Deceit 2 in the future. Subscribe if you don't want to miss it. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed.
Once held high up in heaven's own nest, I was sent back down and disturbed in my rest. Rebel